out here doing the second session of the day or the second episode. As I say, stick around. You're gonna have a lot to say and motivate you. Chip this, so when I hit this, hopefully a little bit of time that we got. That's really nice, man. It's time to do the work. It's so as hell. Today, my shift, I'm gonna be like stiff trying to carry this shit. I'll be cleaned up, all that wild stuff.
Not changing. They're like that same rule. It's over interior and exterior. Let's go.
Excitement.
It's 2,200 square feet. 2 bedrooms and 12. 3 porch. More of them in the back. It's going to be all right, though. I mean, you know, space. Yeah.
This leg tip is how you get your pistols.
I don't wait. Not take off. Well, they did get what they probably should have gotten. Got out from under it. Getting them in before the area is wrong. Shay and I have been working on the little town for those years. There was a couple there with Bill Race.
Tragic. Acting like this. I don't need that right now. I need you to be on track. I'm just having a talk with my neighbor right now. Don't get into this. It's between me and my neighbor. Get your ass together. Wake your ass up, baby. You got this shit. I'm trying to get these muscles pumped up for the show.
I guess we get together next week and everybody's down on the clock. Just me and you. I got more tickets coming. In a little while. This morning. You never know. They give you a window box.
Because they tried to swindle me and leave me for dead. But I'm alive.
I'll be around this week.
I said what I said. Because I don't care about the case that they want me to catch. You see, they want to try to replace me and put me back in that penitentiary, in that setting where I can visibly affect and give y'all the effect of the positive and the positively energy that's channeling and coming through so that we can be one another, through one another. You know, that's how we gotta live. That's how we gotta give ourselves a chance and an opportunity to get back and to get up and achieve that unity. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta stay out here, man. We gotta stay active, stick together. We understand that we're working backwards. We don't sit up here and communicate with each other. We gotta really use our words and use weapons and tools amongst us to try to pull out a rabbit out the hat. Because it's not a trick, but it's a trap. So we gotta be good in effect, get through the times and the attacks and what we see in the world, the war, the turmoil, and the depression, all the things before that consumes in your everyday life. Like, this is why I'm here to teach you a lesson about how to fit yourself. Message clear. That's what I'm doing. day you stick to it, you stick with it for the long run, and you become something that you never thought you would be. It's inevitable. You gotta see these things for what they are, and what is better to do for yourself. When you take the opportunity to help one another and to be in a better place of endearment. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we landing with at the moment. We in the mothership, we just growing. We giving y'all the opportunity to understand where we coming from and what we knowing and how we moving. And we ain't slowing down, like we just taking it one day at a time in the moment so we can live up to those expectations. So I can stay energized and hydrated. We gotta escape this one right here. Cause it's never too late, It's just that time of the year where we gotta prepare, we gotta be green. Cause we cooking, we making it look easy, but we really gotta achieve it, man. We leave everything outside. When you come in, we just gotta attack it. Like it's an intruder. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to see the results, you gotta be a part of an assault on yourself, basically. That's what you're signing up for. When you occasionally want to step into the fire, step into the ring, you gotta hire somebody like me, man, who gonna bring you to your salvation. You gotta ring the alarm, set it off, man.
We're not doing any of that.
You gotta dive right in it. Ain't telling no lies. We're just trying to be out here having a good time. To put things in perspective, man, because you gotta align yourself.
It was like 3 days later for the interview. There was a panel interview.
This is the wealthy energy. You gotta be able to receive and spread and be a jack of all trades, when it comes to those things that we may see. But it's appropriately, this is the occasion.
You were saying that this week you're here and next week you gotta go out again?
We want to showcase it. You give it your all, you put your heart into it. Sometimes you fall, but you gotta get back up. That's the moral of the story. That's one thing about life, man. Keep fighting. Keep going. It's gonna ignite something in you. It's gonna put a fire to you, like a match. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to match that energy one way or another and be astute. So you can control the things that you may not want to, but you have to in a time like this. So you could be in your best presence, you could fit into the puzzle. That's really legit in a way that you could turn things around and you could shock it. Because it may not feel like it now, but later on down the line, you're going to be able to, top it and get better results from when you first started. So this is why you start to document, and track where you at in the present time, in the present day, like how I do. And I show everybody, the weight, I show you the strength, I show you, all of the vulnerable things about me and where I started and where I came from, and where I'm trying to be at later on down the line. Because I didn't make it here overnight, I had to keep showing up and being on top of myself.
I mean, we really do.
It's just that sort of thing. You have to make the best of it. Because we out here every day. You see me. I come on. It's like TV. It's a show. It's my own network that I'm beginning to grow. And the channel that I see, that I'm starting to receive, those blessings. And a positive effect in the state, because it spreads. Positivity is a disease, but it's a good one. It heals you. It's medicine. So if you don't want to be upset, if you don't want to bother with him, you begin to start and you create something that can set you apart and aside from your competition. Because that's essentially who you will be going up against. So it's a battle every day to, strategize and just put yourself and your images up there and your likeness of what you like to do. That's how you gotta pursue your career. You gotta take it like life and death, because the effect and the effort and what you put in is what you're gonna get out. So if you don't do nothing, then you won't get nothing. But if you do a lot, then you'll get a lot. But you just have to apply it in the right ways into what the things are that you're trying to get and where you're trying to go in life. And, your living situations, how you take it and how you capitalize off it is all you. Nobody else. That's just the truth. All you got to depend on, man. So you can't fumble. Like, this is your opportunity to get one shot. So never stop, never give up. Because it's a lot that comes with it, but same way you give it, you'll get it back. You gotta be rich, in fact, in your mind and in your heart. And then that's when you'll see things making a change in your bank accounts. Start to see your pockets swollen up now. You gotta take off, man, like a rocket. Because you're not lost, you just need a sense of direction to help clean up, all of the time, the lost time. Because that's one thing that's priceless, you can't ever get it back. So you just want to stay aligned with the universe and your chakras, you want to put it first and get in tune, and that's what's going to work for you. When you get in those rooms and you start being able to have an opportunity to do something different. Because we've been doing the same thing for so long, it's like we chased it. It wasn't in a way that, could get us from basic to intermediate or to the beginner level to now, you on that extreme, you on the elite side of things, to start to treat yourself on another beat. But we really want to be here 20 minutes in and we see, the temperament, things of how we stirring it up on here, and we making these social media uproars, you know, it's an uprising, so we just pouring it in, man, sticking to the code from the beginning, you know, because we're showing people how we relate and how we move, and it's never too late to do, you know, something for yourself at the end of the day. So, you want to be on the right page, you want to be on the right side of history every day, so you gotta learn something and be able to consume at the same time so you can move in a more productive way for you and for your family, you know what I'm saying, to do and take care of the business that, you know, you created, because this is what that is, like, you know, you're gonna give, you're gonna get bruises, you know, you're gonna fall, there's gonna be times where you might not be ready for it all, but you know, you gotta be able to maneuver and stay steady. It's gonna take you off your square, and you know, you can't let it, because you gotta be proactive, you gotta really be making things work for you. As a man, you gotta have control and put yourself in the right position as well. You can't hold too much grudges or too much, you know, negative touches. You want to be able to just move forward. You got to keep moving on and, you know, heal yourself from the pain and all the things that may have hurt you in the past. You know, they come so fast these days. It's like, you just got to be able to take it with the wind and, you know, get in where you fit in from the beginning, man, because it'll be no end. It'll just be overly, you know, stopping you from doing what you do. And then it's like, you know, you gotta be a ruler, you gotta be a king, you know what I mean? You can't just be out here acting like you're not who you are and who you seem, and, you know, let people prey on you when you are actually the predator, you know what I mean, or the jungle. So you gotta hunt, you know, you gotta hustle, you gotta give it up for what you want. And then you start to see later on down the line, you know, you start figuring out, okay, how do I use my time wisely enough to get the things that I need and be, you know, just at a state of equality and stability. You know, that's the big things these days that a lot of people have a problem with trying to get under their belt. You know, when we see like during the pandemic and all of the crisis and the sickness, you know, people losing their homes and homelessness, all of that, it really got big, you know, during those years. And so now we appear to be desensitized from it, but you know, we gotta really take it in and understand that it's not known, and we gotta begin somewhere. You know, everybody gotta start before you can finish. We want that instant gratification. We want to be able to get millions and get rich quick, and it's like, you know, it takes time, you know, it take work, it take effort, it take a lot of thought. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a product, something that you saw, you gotta envision it before it all, you know, comes together. And you gotta start networking and putting together some type of service for people to be able to, you know, indulge and consume and put themselves into, because they might want to invest in you, but if you don't really have, you know, anything set up to get the bag and, you know, basically do business, it's like, you know, now you just wishing on that star, you know, just hoping and praying that, you know, you can strike the lot. But it's like you gotta really put the effort in, and you gotta really hustle. Like, you gotta learn the motto and learn to read the room swallow your pride sometimes, so you can follow the yellow brick road. And you know what I'm saying? It's like the Wizard of Oz. You gotta be able to mold yourself sometimes, and you know, just go with the go along. You know, it's like a train. You know, you don't want it to get wrecked, but it goes both ways. So you gotta sometimes direct and step in, and you know, you gotta operate it to begin to shift the tides. You know what I mean? Like it been that way for so long. It's like it's only right. You know, you start being strong, and you start being in the mindset to, you know, put yourself on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Like, everybody needs help, everybody needs support, everybody needs a community to teach and to be taught. But if you've never been in the stable to begin with, and you've been outside on your own, you're not able to click and you know, let things get to where you need to be, then you know it's just a waste of time in that moment. So we shining, man. We out here, like we putting in the work, we grinding. You know, we coming and we showing the people how we align with the Creator in the universe to make things greater. And we growing, and you know we starting to see the platform even showing a whole new outlook. You know, we rebranding and we taking things from raining before, but now we took it and we flipped it and we made it into a positive. And you know, we just giving people the time to get acquainted and understand, you know, how we thinking and how we operating in our everyday, you know, duties and activities, so we can, you know, be more choosy and truly, you know, about the work and where we're trying to go first before we go left. Because things will get right one way or another, but we just like gotta really stay tight and stay on top of it. To like make things the best with less, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants more. They think that that's, you know, the way to go, but it's like really annoying. You're stunting your growth because now you're depending on people to, you know, take you to the next level. And all you have to do is just apply yourself and be better than, you know, what you've been beforehand and whatnot. So, you know, we just giving it up like that. And, you know, we sticking to the same regimen, the same little, you know, diet, but we tweaking things out. We enlighten ourselves with the work, and we can also manipulate the body, you know, when you take the time out to really divulge in, you know what I mean, the numbers, and you're looking at it from a standpoint of, you know, just manual versus automatic, to where that's just like, you know, it's a little bit more tactical, and you know, it's a little bit more practical on how you gotta perceive it and be on the training side of things versus the diet, which, you know, is not hard to maintain. You don't gotta like it, but you gotta love it, because this right here is not something that you just gonna grow overnight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta begin to start to love, you know, this work. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself above and then the next person's shoes. You know what I'm saying? To do what you want to do. Because we know that it's cool to stay, you know, content. But when you do the consistency thing and you really put all of your strength and your heart into it, you know, you're gonna see the results that you need, you know, to set yourself apart and to be able to grow and, you know, plant the seeds to get those results, basically. It's inevitable, man, like one way or another, it's gonna come. You just gotta be able to spend the time and put your mind to something that you've never been before, or put yourself where you've never been at. You know, you gotta go war with these streams, man. Like, you can't leave, you gotta stay, you gotta be dedicated and, put in that overtime, put that work into, overly meditate and understand the states that you're in and how to grow and give thanks, for the things that we receive daily and we take for granted and we don't want them to be, so much so that it's like, we feel like we always need more, we always want to put more effort in and, we want to lock in, but it's like, you gotta sometimes put that mental block in too, what I'm saying, and get those results and do what you gotta do, so. Been a half an hour live. They ain't really share us out. Ain't nobody like the live, so probably gonna just go for now. Cause we didn't get the hope, or the support we was looking for, but it's all good. We're gonna get back on, it's never gonna stop. We just gonna keep streaming one day at a time. One viewer, one person is enough for me. You sat here and talked for at least 30-something minutes. You get watch time with it. You get a lot of different, actually basic engagement when it comes to that, and people showing you that. So shout out to y'all. Like, I'm hunting. I'm an entertainer, so if I'm an entertainer, I gotta get an audience. I gotta show up places that I never thought I'd be, and connect with people who you never thought that you would mix and match with. But it's a tragic, thing. Sometimes it's a fatal attraction. When you bring those sides and you bring those forces together, you never know what kind of collide or collision or what kind of, business can be actually made from, those relationships. So you don't want to take it for granted. You want to be able to handle it and you want to be able to mold it. Because this right here, this is my baby. I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no baby mama. YouTube, social media is my kid. That's my family. Because that's all I did for the last 7 years. And, I'm not just going to let it go in vain, because I done had some moments and I done had some things that I can show. And it's like, okay, we could really make more of a show and a network out of this. We just got to get the right amount of presence, the audience, the cadence, the flow, the delivery, everything on how I'm growing and maneuvering is all on the show, when it comes to that. So that's what we gotta do. That's just how we gotta move out here, man. So stay tuned, I'm about to go hit it, and I'm gonna get with you.